Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be conversing with some people from the Moritaka World community. Last summer, I did a web chat with Jeremy, aka Area 7, and we talked a lot about Chisato. Now this time I have two new admins, Raymond and Drew, who are going to join in into our chat, as well as Jeremy. And we're going to talk about Chisato. We're also going to be talking about the Idol Crisis project that the Moritaka World community has been working on. So it's going to be a very exciting web chat. And before I get on with the chat, I wanted to tell you guys to please hit that subscribe button so you guys can see more videos from me, and also hit the notification bell so you know when I post a new video. I also provide my socials and the socials of the people I'm going to be conversing with so you guys can check them out. I hope you enjoy the rest of the chat.
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Hey.
good. Good. I've been having some technical difficulties, but I'm glad you guys can hear me.
Yeah. How's my side look?
Oh, it's good. I like the background.
Thanks.
Is mine okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Cause I'm on my laptop right now, and I didn't want to use my desktop because my back hurts. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
All right. So where's Raymond?
He's on his way. He's having some technical difficulties.
Oh, okay. So should we wait for him to come?
But yeah, he's on his way. Yeah, maybe give it a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, I did green room test, so it might be okay. If not, I have to go to chat. Okay. Yeah, he's on his way. Okay. What I got here? Yeah, I had to get out of my comfort zone. So I had to use a different browser for this.
Oh, you're using Chrome or which one?
Uh, Edge,
Edge. Oh, okay.
Edge Chromium, because apparently Firefox doesn't support some of the features of Google.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Like the Firefox won't do this background.
That's cool. I didn't even know that.
I just found out today.
Wow.
Oh, looks like Raymond's on his way.
All right. So just wait for him. And for now, how about we have Drew introduce himself, because uh, it's his first time doing this chat, because I've had a chat with you before.
Hi.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you can call me Drew, and I'm part of the Idol Crisis, I guess, development team, right? What I do in there is I usually, character ideas and just, random things like, hey, how about we put this in? And just some random little ideas that I come up with, and for, like, say, for example, different enemies or just different people who I think would fit the bill for the series. And I just bring them up, and I just, have a list. I'm like, okay, how about this person? So, that's me. That's what I do.
Cool. And you're a huge fan of Chisato too?
Um, I like Chisato, but I'm a huge Onyanko Club fan. That's my what I like the most is Onyanko Club.
Yeah, I've heard of them. They
Mm.
have some pretty good songs.
Oh yeah, they're great. I love them. There's a lot of, I mean, the songs, a lot of them are you could say they're kind of weird if you really look into in depth, but I mean, just they're they sound like happy, they're like cheerful little songs, and they're cool. Some of them even have that like 50s kind of sound, which I like. They have like that 1950s kind of rock and roll sound. I like that. So
Mm.
Yeah, I like their first album, Kickoff.
yeah, Kickoff is great.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
there's also a movie from 1986. I've been trying to find that movie. I've been trying to watch it, but they've only had
The
like,
Onyanko movie.
yeah, that one.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Yeah, it has like a couple of clips, but I haven't been able to see the full thing.
Oh, okay.
I've been trying to find
Yeah,
it.
the full movie is on YouTube.
It is? Wow.
Yeah, I'll send you a link to it when I can.
Oh, thank you, because I've been wanting to see it.
Yeah.
I only saw like little clips of it, of them performing on stage.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, I
yeah,
got you. Yeah.
Onyanko Club is cool. So many
Yeah.
Yeah.
wonderful idols from that group.
Yeah, a lot. There's a lot of, and people, I think a lot of people like brush by the fact that, hey, Onyanko was kind of like the stepping stone for everything today. Like the whole AKB48, all that is basically a modern day Onyanko because it's the producer is Yasushi Akimoto, right?
Akimoto,
And
yeah.
Hmm.
yeah, so he basically is, I guess you could say, Japan's top producer right now, and he married Mamiko Takai, who was in Onyanko. So,
Mm.
but and that's a very controversial thing also within the community. But yeah, I mean, I would say they're underrated compared to a lot of like the popular stuff now. Like I said, the AKB48s and whatever other ones are out there because there's so many. And because they were the original idol group. They started it all basically, or that's what
Oh
really
yeah.
kicked it off was Onyanko. So I think I think people should pay more attention to that, and you know, like this, they were a big deal. Like in the '80s, they were huge. So
Yeah, they were even on a couple of episodes of Sukuban Deka.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's I mean, later on I'll bring it up my how I got into you know the whole J-pop idol stuff. I'll bring that up because that's a story in itself right there.
Yeah. Well, I don't really listen to the modern J-pop. I'm like stuck in the past. Like I only listen
Yeah,
to
that's what I do too.
yeah. I'm only stuck in
I'm
the
an '80s
80s,
person.
80s
Yeah,
and 90s. But everything
yeah,
else, some early 2000s I like, but everything else like that's from this decade and that's modern. I don't listen to.
yeah. Me too. I'm not huge into modern stuff except for like specific genres, but other than that, it's all like '80s. That's really it.
Mm.
Do you like other idols?
Oh yeah, other idol. I like um I like Wink. They were what got me into this whole thing in the first place was Wink.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Wink is awesome too, especially Sabishi Netagiyo.
Hitagyo, that
Yeah,
was like
yeah.
I
I've got to get
believe,
into that.
yeah, it's one of I think it was one of, if not, yeah, I think it was one of my first idol records that I ever got was Sawashina Taigyo.
Wow.
So that's and I have it in my little display shelf up in my room. I've got a display shelf where I got my Sukeban Deka stuff and my Wink stuff, and all that's like in a little display shelf, and I have my Onyanko stuff in a different area, but I kind of have like a little display case kind of thing.
Uh, yeah, I was huge into Wink. Like the first idol that I discovered was Chisato, and then I started discovering the
Mm-hmm.
other idols like Wink. Like I listened to their
Mm-hmm.
stuff all the time when I was in high school. Cause
Yeah,
yeah,
same. That's when
yeah.
I first got into this was like beginning in high school. That's when I first started, like I would say 2016, 2017. And I found out about, well, first off, it all started, with, your average city pop stuff. When I first got into it, I was big into like Omega Tribe and Toshiki and all that stuff. But then I found out about Wink, and then I saw the video for Sabashi no Taigyo, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is really good!" And then that sucked me down the rabbit hole, and look where I am now.
Wow, that's cool. I had a similar
Yeah.
thing happen to me. Like, for me, like I discovered J-pop in 2007 when YouTube was still new, and the first video that I ever clicked on was Junanasai, Chisato
Mm-hmm.
Moritaka single. And I became obsessed with Chisato from there. I was watching all her videos, and I wanted to buy her CDs.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like a weird middle school kid. I was
Yeah.
Yeah, and then in high school I discovered Wink. I discovered Miho Nakayama,
Mm-hmm.
Minako Tanaka. I discovered Onyanko Club a little bit later, like in my
Mm-hmm.
college years, but
Yeah.
but that's all I've been listening to since middle school. Pure J-pop, and there's this website. I don't know if you guys have visited yet. It's called J-pop 80s,
But
and
yep, that's where I
Oh,
got all my stuff.
yeah,
Yep, all my digital stuff is from there. Yep.
R.I.P.
yeah.
It got nuked, unfortunately.
Yeah, but the second one is still up, huh? The J-pop 80s 2, right? It's been up for like a while.
Oh,
I
I didn't know about that.
yeah.
Really?
I would guess
Hold on. I'm gonna There was a yeah, J-pop 80s 2, blogspot.com. Yeah, it's still up and you can still download stuff from there.
cool.
It's by the
All
same
right,
person. Yeah.
Oh man, I thought it
all
was
right,
Again,
I'll
I'll
look it
send
up.
links.
okay. I thought it was like gone because that would be
Yeah, it's
horrible for
not
me.
dead. It's still up.
Yeah.
But it was what happened was yeah, the original website, but then the creator basically made a completely different website and uploaded everything again because he's got it all archived anyways. So he just uploaded it again and there you go.
Whew, well, that's good for us. So we can listen
Yeah.
to all the songs because I don't want it to be gone. That's where I get most of my downloads from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've bought some of the CDs too on eBay, and it's been really difficult to find some of the older J-pop artists because the seller wants like more than $100 for the CDs. Yeah,
I've got a lot
yeah.
of stories about that. So Onyanko subgroups. Are you familiar with them?
Um, I think so. I think one of the groups is with what's her name? Man, her name escapes me. Um, what's her name again? Oh my god.
Shizuka?
Yeah, Shizuka Kudo. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
So I was looking on eBay, right, and I was just because I get notifications whenever because I have the saved searches for like Onyanko and like Onyanko stuff, right?
Mhm.
So it pops up. It shows a Ushirogami Hikaratai album,
Oh,
which
cool.
is the group with Akiko, Shizuka, and Makiko.
Yeah.
And someone wants to sell the record for $147. I'm like, excuse me?
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, and it's not worth that at all, at all. It's like max like I've seen it like under $5. Super
Wow.
cheap,
Wow.
even less than
Well,
that.
don't go eBay. Just
Yeah,
just use YE instead.
yeah.
Yeah, I've been lucky to find the Chisato albums for less than $10. They're used, but they were in good condition. But that was good. But for the other
Mhm.
J-pop idols, it's been really difficult. I've been trying to
Yeah,
find Yuki Saito's albums, but no luck.
yeah. I was able to find Axia
Mm.
like a couple of years ago, I think. That was cool. I mean, Axia is great. If you were to go like for any Yuki Sato album, get Axia.
Yeah,
It's
Mm.
yeah, that's
it's
a good album.
amazing.
It is. I also like her second one.
Yeah, it's fine, but I've been listening to Axia for a long time, so I just have a soft spot for it, I guess you could say.
Yeah, because Shiroi Hono is on it. Yeah, I like that song.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, Chisato stuff is cheap where you find it. That's why I love YE. Like I was able to get a around 9 laser discs for 2,300 yen or somewhere close to $23
Wow.
before shipping. What was weird was that the auction itself said that it was a junk lot, meaning that the discs were supposedly in bad condition. But when I got them, they were all near mint. They were all near mint, and 3 of them were still sealed.
Oh,
Wow.
cool.
Yeah, like there's for well, one example here is like near mint.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah,
Cool. Yeah.
This is actually my second copy because my first copy is sealed.
Cool.
Okay. What else? I'm not sure if Raymond's ready, but yeah, he'll join in later.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to get the Get Smile concert on Laserdisc.
Oh,
Yeah, I got it from a seller in Virginia, and
that's cool.
it was like at a moderate price, like $10. Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
actually,
so
right.
you're the one who got that?
Really?
Yeah. I was asking like, so you were the one who got that one?
Yeah, sure. I have it here. I don't know if you guys want to see it again. It's underneath my desk, cause I have lots of stuff in here. I keep it in this. I keep all my Chisato stuff in this Hello Kitty thing.
Ooh,
Yeah, got it here. See,
nice.
I got it
That's
from.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it from the seller from Virginia. It was hard to believe that someone in the U.S. had it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, but I don't have a Laserdisc player because a lot of people are asking for really crazy prices for the Laserdisc. I tried looking.
Yeah,
I tried looking for them in my flea market, which no longer exists anymore. They haven't been coming to my neighborhood for 3 years now. Um, but they didn't have any Laserdisc. They had just VHS players. But yeah, it's really difficult to find Laserdisc at a moderate price because they want like crazy prices, like $300, four hundred
yeah,
dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I have an LD player myself, but it doesn't work. I need to find the time to like look for someone who could fix it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't have one either.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's like a big DVD player. It's like a predecessor to the DVD. It's like a
Hmm.
huge
Yes, it
disc.
is.
Yeah. I'm very fascinated by it. I remember when I was in a couple of years ago, like a decade ago, I was very fascinated by Laserdisc because I saw all these people on YouTube showing off their Laserdisc collection with like old Disney movies and like old movies from the 90s, and they were showing off like the laser discs that had like special features on it and had like artwork and things like that. And I thought it was very fascinating because I didn't grow up in the laser disc era. I grew up in the like VHS era, like in the late '90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was about the same time.
Yeah, but I had no idea what a laser disc was. I only grew up with the VHS player.
Yeah, because LDs were very expensive back then. They're like uh, movies were about at least like $30 to $50.
Yeah, they were pretty expensive back then. Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
Yeah,
but in
yeah,
VHS.
yeah. Well, one thing, ever since I just discovered Chisato last year, I rapidly built up my collection. So I have almost every single one of her albums on CD. Uh, and of course, I got some for Blu-rays. Did you get this one already?
No, not yet.
Onomachi Tour 2019. This was her last one.
I
It's
only
pretty
have
good.
yeah. I only have Moritaka Land.
Moritaka, okay.
Yeah.
And I got this one.
Mhm.
Oh, you got, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I recently got this one here, the Kohon Tozai box set.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. You have that too?
No, I only have Moritaka Land. I only have the Blu-ray. I don't have the other concerts. Let me
Mm.
see. Yeah, I only have Moritaka Land. I got this one.
Yours is Blu-ray?
Yeah, this is Blu-ray. And it has like a CD
Yeah,
too.
yeah, I got that one too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Uh, there's supposed to be a new Blu-ray coming out in August or July. No, actually July next month. Chisato Moritaka Live 2020. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I heard that she was giving concerts for the coronavirus. I heard.
Yeah, she did 3 concerts last year. You know, during the whole pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
They were all online concerts, and now they're going to be released on Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, like you could only see tidbits of the concert, like of 2 of the concerts, on her YouTube channel.
I see. Yeah, I haven't been watching it lately, but
Yeah.
does she perform all her old hits?
Well, it goes like this. The first concert was uh, top 10, the 10 most popular songs as voted by the fans. You could probably imagine what those 10 are. And then the second one, it was 20 songs, mostly deep cuts, selected by a music reviewer.
Oh, cool.
So there's like songs that you never thought she'd perform live. And then she started the concert with her cover of a Shonen Knife song.
Oh, cool. Shonen Knife. They're cool too.
Yeah. Uh, and then the uh, third one was a selection, her own selection of songs that she did not perform on the first 2 concerts.
Okay.
Yeah. There's just that, you might get disoriented by the first one because there's no crowd.
Oh yeah, I see.
So she's performing with no band in an empty bar, in an empty nightclub.
Wow. That must have been a little strange.
Yeah. And then the second one, the other 2 were on traditional concert halls with limited crowds.
Cool. I think I'll check it out.
Yeah. Okay. So what other stuff I get? Oh yeah. I think I told you about this on our last chat. Uh, some other memorabilia I picked up. Did I ever show you this?
Oh yeah, you did. You showed me.
Yeah. This is actually this is actually my second unit.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Uh, I actually won a third one, and it's on the way.
Wow.
And then I also got this.
Oh wow, how cute.
Yeah, I actually got all 3 of them.
Nice.
But I don't know if I'll ever like assemble or paint them.
Yeah, if I were you, I would keep it in the box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh. Anyway. Okay. So what have you been up to?
Oh, me, like in my personal life, like I've just been really busy with my stuff at work and all. I've been listening to my J-pop, you know, every now and then. Um, but I would like to know more about the Idol Crisis project that you guys been working on, because I haven't been like I've you showed me the document here of all the characters and all the things you're working on.
Hi. Okay. Well, I guess where do we start?
Mhm.
Yeah. This actually started what 25 years ago actually.
Mhm.
Uh, back in college, I was big into fighting games, and one day I was playing Street Fighter Alpha, and one of the King of Fighters games. And then, right while I was playing, Electric Youth was playing in the background, and that gave me an idea. What if you had a fighting game but with pop singers? So I had this idea, and I collaborated with a college friend, and we did this thing called Pop Fighter. Unfortunately, because of college life, that got shelved and been long forgotten. And then during this whole pandemic thing last year, um, I started rediscovering J-pop, and that's when I got hooked on Chisato. And when I first started listening to her, like first started listening to her, she reminded me, like a lot of her music, a lot of her music reminded me of Debbie Gibson, and something clicked. I said, "Remember that project that 20 back in 1996?" So that gave me the idea to revisit that project, and turn Pop Fighter into Idol Crisis. And as part of that, I gave a new main character based on Chisato. And just for our viewers, here's a here's a sneak peek.
Yep, I really like the poster. Chisato and
Yeah,
Debbie. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then so I worked with a whole bunch of artists on Instagram. So they did their interpretations. This one here, uh, thought it was a random idea. What if I did something based inspired by Double Dragon poster?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see that too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and let's see here. Of course, you see in the background that's one of the action shots that we did. So like a simulated fight between Chisato and Debbie.
Cool.
Okay, and then we have this another teaser. This time with the third character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Yoko.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Yoko.
Like, yeah, because I'm currently listening to Yoko Oginome, and I was kind of surprised that the fan presence isn't as big as I thought it'd be. So, aside from running Moritaka World, I also run Dancing Hero, the Yoko Oginome fans worldwide group on Facebook.
Yeah. I like Goki Oginome. Yeah. Especially Dancing
Yeah,
Hero. I like the music video.
yeah. Okay. Let's see.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. Chisato, and I got Debbie. I don't know if I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's Debbie.
yeah, yeah. And Yoko.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Plus bonus characters.
Millie Vanilli.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm still working on a storyline for this, and so far it's gotten a lot of positive reception
Mm-hmm.
on Instagram. At the same time, also uh, the Chisato holics like it, and a lot of the deadheads like the idea too.
Yeah, I'm glad because I think it's a good idea. It's a really interesting story.
Yeah,
I wish there was like a
and
TV show based on this.
yeah, it's just that the biggest hurdle on this one is the licensing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I mean, for now, this is just a fan project.
but it's nice. It has a lot of imagination and it's like a huge throwback to the '80s, and I like it.
Yeah, yeah, thanks. I mean, like, so, Drew here has been helping me a lot on some ideas
Yeah.
because he's heavy into the '80s,
Oh yeah.
probably more than me.
Oh yeah. Yep. Oh yeah.
And I grew up in the '80s.
Yeah. And I'm just a kid still. Technically a kid, but an adult, but kid, quote unquote, I guess. But yeah, I
Oh
mean,
no,
I'm crazy for the '80s, dude.
Wow,
Yeah.
how old are you?
20.
You're 20. Wow, I'm
Yeah.
27. But it's nice because I see like the younger generation. They're mostly
Yeah. There's
interested in the 80s and the
yeah.
90s culture, especially because of Stranger
Hmm.
Things and all these like movies that
Like
are.
synthwave stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
only if they do it right.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're looking at you, Wonder Woman '84.
Oh my god. Uh,
Yeah, that was no.
have you guys checked out my review on Wonder Woman 84? It's on my YouTube. It was
I
pretty.
was chatting with you.
Yeah, it was a disaster of a movie. Like you guys have to check out my review because it was very disappointing because there was like so much hype about it, and they were stalling it for so many months because of the pandemic, and it turned out to be a
Mhm.
a disaster. It's like
Yeah. Well, though, there's one show that did get it did get the '80s right, and you should check it out. It's on Netflix. Glow.
Glow. Oh yeah. I have a couple of people who are always recommending me to watch it, but I've never had the time. I was always watching Stranger Things and other things, but I will definitely check it out. Yeah.
I mean, this show has that look and feel of the '80s, and the dialogue is downright politically incorrect by today's standards
Wow.
because they do stuff that was normal in the '80s that'll get you in jail now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, it was a different time 30 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, um, yeah, it's just that I'm still like trying to develop this project, from the ground up, and I need more ideas because we don't want to limit ourselves to just Japanese American artists. So I asked Drew, I asked a few people, um, who are some good Latino artists that are just not Selena level, not Paulina Rubio level, but are okay.
Well, you could definitely try researching Tatiana. She started her career.
Yeah,
Tatiana, yeah. She
yeah,
um
no.
she started off as a teen idol in 1984. Her first album was in 1984, and she got really famous in 1986 with her second album, Chicas de Hoy, and that was one of the songs that was
Mm,
really popular. And she even did a collaboration with a Menudo member named Johnny Losada,
Oh,
and
okay.
they did like two songs together, and they were talking about teen pregnancy and about abstinence, and it was like a huge deal in the 80s. And they collaborated along with Ronald Reagan at that time. Yeah, there's like an article about it. I'll probably find it because it's very
yeah,
int-
it's
it's
just that
ve- it's very
as,
interesting.
as long as that she's not megastar level like Selena or Paulina.
Not she wasn't really that famous because her popularity like sort of like it kind of ended in the 90s. but in the
Okay.
like mid 80s to late 80s is when she was really popular, and she was even in a movie with a Spanish rock band, Hombres G, because
Hmm.
that's my dad's favorite band, so you always listen to it, so that's why I know. And she was in one movie with
Uh,
them. So yeah, she's not like Paulina. She's not like a Madonna type. She was very like teen idolish like Chisato, but not to the point where she was like overly sexual. Not really.
I will. I'll look into it. A
Yeah,
few days ago, Drew recommended Sasha.
Sasha Sokol.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Timbiriche. Yeah, I know her.
Okay. Also, one of my other collaborators recommended Lucero.
Yeah, Lucero. Yeah, she's good too.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on those.
I
Yeah,
think
because like I said,
I think I have the LP of Chicas de Hoy from Tatiana. I'll show it to you guys. Give me a second.
okay. Wow, you're well organized.
Yeah, so I got this. Um,
So that's Tatiana.
yeah, that's Tatiana.
Okay.
If you look in the back, and
Okay. I will.
that's Johnny Losada
Okay.
that she
Tatiana.
collaborated with.
Hello.
Yeah,
Okay. Uh. So she was from late '80s.
she's from the mid '80s, 1984, and
Oh.
yeah,
Hmm.
she started in
I'm gonna
1984.
have.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's actually a bit too early
yeah.
for this series. Because I'm looking for some people from the early '90s.
Oh, early '90s. I see. I see. But she's one of the teen idols from that was very popular in Mexico. So you might consider that. That's just an idea that I threw out there. But that's her number. That's one of her best albums, Chica Zoe. Um,
Ah,
but later on, after her singing career ended, she became like a children's entertainer. She had like her own TV show in the '90s and early 2000s. So yeah, she's both a singer, actress, and a performer for
yeah.
kids. Yeah.
I'll look into that. Yeah. Because like at the same time, I'm also asking around for like any candidates for characters from the Asian region.
Mhm.
I've already shortlisted a few. I've actually had one from Thailand and one from possibly a couple from Hong Kong and Taiwan.
Mhm.
Because it's going to be like Street Fighter, where all your characters are global.
Mhm.
So I got to have a global list of characters going through this whole series.
Uh, let's see. Um, I could think of a couple more, but I would have to refresh my memory. So I know there's some. Sasha is a good choice. Who else?
Sasha was in the same group as Paulina, right?
Yeah, and Timbiriche. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, well, again, there's a lot to explore here. Just that we also have to match like personality traits here, like what fighting style they use, and let's say what video game characters they would be based on.
Yeah. It's a. I have so many in my mind, but I just can't like. I have to refresh my memory. So
So yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you know, this took me about 25 years to like
To come up
you
with it.
know
Yeah.
well to bring to the world.
Uh huh.
Yeah. So this whole Chisato mania thing that I experienced over the past year. Um, even my sister was helping me on this because she worked at an animation studio here in Manila before it got shut down by the pandemic. So a lot of her coworkers are now jobless.
Wow.
So I helped around by commissioning them to do some artwork, and then one of them gave me a Christmas gift.
Cool.
I don't know if you can see it from here.
Uh, I can see a little bit. Oh, what is it?
Yeah, it's a framed picture of Chisato.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah. Uh, I'll post it on Instagram soon. Yeah.
Okay, I have another idol here from Mexico from the late 80s. I don't know if this would work out. You would have to research it. Her name is Alejandra Guzman, but
Alejandra Gus.
yeah, but she's more like rock, like pop rock. I don't know if
It'll work.
yeah, you can look into that because she was really big in the late 80s.
Alejandra Guzman.
Yeah.
Gabriela Alejandra Guzman Pinal.
Mhm.
That might work. Yeah, that might work. Uh, like I said, like, was she really big?
Yeah, she was. She was really big in the late 80s. Like that was her debut.
No, I mean like megastar level.
Um, she still is to this day, but
Because I cannot use megastar level artists
hmm,
because like I don't want them to upstage the main characters.
I see.
That's why Idol Crisis does not have no Madonna, no Cindy Lauper, no Akina, no Seiko,
Uh huh.
because they're far too high on for this application.
Okay, I see. Yeah. Um.
Because originally, like, I know that they're not idols at all, but for like the Latino artists, right?
Uh huh.
Because I I'm to be completely honest, I really don't know barely any like Latino idols from the '80s. I only know like Los Bukis, Los Tigres del Norte, that type of stuff. Like the um, rancheras and the like the different mariachi bands from all the way into the '50s too, because that's what I grew up with.
Yeah.
So like that's what I know. I don't know, a lot um, of the Latino idols from the '80s. The only one I know of, and the only one that I actually have in my record collection is that Sasha single, and like everything else is like either like Los Bukis or like I said, Los Tigres del Norte, or you
Mhm.
know, so like a bunch of mariachi groups, and yeah, but I mean, I wish I could help out on that, but it's just my knowledge is limited when it comes to the idol
Uh,
aspect. I know more
there's a
about
lot of
Yeah.
time for that because we can't include it on the first installment because
yeah,
we're already
Yeah.
the first installment's already booked. We just need a story.
Yeah. I have
Yeah,
I have another suggestion, but I'm not sure if it would work out because she's more of like a '90s idol.
that's
Uh,
what I need. I need a '90s idol.
'90s? Okay. Well, she's like mid '90s to late '90s. So her name is Faye. She mostly did like Euro dance and house music. Her her biggest her debut album was very popular, and but her second album, which was Tierra la Noche, was very popular. I remember as a kid, I listened to it a lot, and I would watch her performances on TV. So she was a big thing.
Wait, what was her name again?
Faye, Fey.
Faye.
Yeah, Faye.
Maria Fernanda Villarasquez Gil.
Yeah, that's her.
Okay, uh, take notes of that. 1995. No, wait. Yeah, okay. So 1995 up. I'll keep an eye on.
Yeah, her biggest hit was Azúcar Amargo, which means like bitter sugar. You can see the music video
Okay.
for that. That was her #1 hit.
Okay. Um,
Let's see.
well, okay. One of the other ideas I had on this uh, was also thinking of including how can I pronounce this? Sereje.
Oh yeah, the Las Ketchup. Those girls. Oh
I
man.
mean, maybe it's an in joke because they're only one hit wonder.
Yeah, I remember listening to that a lot as a kid. Oh my god. Oh man. It was
I want to know what that dance was. Yeah,
it was like the Macarena, but it was like it was really cheesy.
yeah. Oh. um, one of the other ideas I had. Let me see if I could pull them up. Uh, because back in
Mhm.
the '90s,
Yeah. Mhm.
uh, our household was introduced to cable TV.
Mhm.
Yeah, our household was introduced to cable TV, and that's when I started watching MTV Asia, and that exposed me to a lot of international acts. Now, here's the funny part.
Uh huh.
Back in 1992, I believe.
Uh huh.
Yeah, back in 1992, there was this French kid named Jordi.
Okay.
He was only 4 years old when he recorded a song and it hit #1.
Cool.
Yeah, his name is Jordi, Jordy.
Wow, Jordy.
Yeah, Do Tre Bebe,
Mhm.
or yeah, it hit #1 all over Europe, and he was only 4 years old.
Wow, that's amazing.
Except you kind of wonder what he's doing now because that's it, one hit wonder.
Yeah.
Uh, I am also uh, yeah, I'm also still looking for I'm also exploring like who the cast has on the good guys list, on the bad guys list.
Mhm.
So far for Idol Crisis 1, we already have like the roster set. I just need to get character designs made.
Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah. Um,
It's beautiful
also,
artwork.
also, yeah, thanks. Also, I told my team, get inspiration from a lot of '80s stuff.
Let's see. I think I may know someone else. Um. Okay, I have someone here. She was popular in the late '80s and '90s, like Alejandra Guzman. Her name is Gloria Trevi.
Gloria, excuse me,
Trevi. Trevi.
Gloria Trevi.
Yeah, her.
Gloria de los Angeles Revino Ruiz.
Yeah.
So she's from 1985 present. Uh, Again, I have to ask. She's not megastar level.
No, not really, because her career has always been controversial because she got involved in a really huge scandal in the '90s, in the mid '90s.
In
Um.
2000, Trevi and Bradley
Yeah.
backup singer Mayra Leo were arrested in Rio de Janeiro on charges of corrupting minors.
Yeah.
Ooh.
She's pretty controversial.
Could be on the bad guy list. I could work with that.
Yeah, that's interesting. You could put her as a villain.
I could work with that. I'll explore. I'll explore her career. Maybe. Oh yeah. Yeah. Let's see. But there's always time. There's always time to do this. Just keep exploring other other popular singers from other countries.
Hmm.
Because like on one of the other installments, I'm looking at the creating a character based on Alanis Morissette before she became big.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen her pop era songs from Canada?
Yeah, a little bit of them. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's weird. It's weird. During that time, they actually called her the Canadian Debbie Gibson.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, and then like you listen to Alanis in early 1990,
Hmm.
and then pop in the CD of Jagged Little Pill. It is complete night and day.
Yeah.
It's like you would never think like this girl would turn into this angsty foul mouth singer.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah.
Uh, what other explorations there? Also looking at a lot of British singers. Let's say Kathy Dennis. Remember her?
Yeah. She's good too.
Yeah. Um, let's see who else. Yeah. Yeah. So that's still in the works.
And
In the
I
meantime, go ahead.
sorry. Um, so what I've been doing too is for my part with the character design. I've been mainly doing some on the is kind of like thugs, right? And what I've brought up is why not, because we're doing it's mostly on 80s like uh idol singers from around the world, right? But why not,
Hi.
incorporate just a little bit of, the culture and kind of the what was popular in the 80s, like what was the cool thing to do with like the younger generation or,
That's
the
exactly
generation of
what.
the 80s.
Yeah.
And so I came up with, hey, for some of like the thugs, right, that work with you know the head bad guy of the series, let's do something like, hey, let's make it interesting. Let's not just have, people fighting with their fist. Let's do it with like skateboards or bicycles.
Yeah.
So
BMX.
Hmm.
I decided to come up with, let's do let's make like skateboard thugs. So it's like a group of skateboarders. I would think like kind of based off of, say, the Bones Brigade from the 80s for the Pal Peralta skate team, and from the movie Thrashin' that came out in the 80s too. So kind of something based off of that. And then another group, which is these like BMX freestyle guys, and they're based off of a lot of the freestyle scene of BMX in the 80s, and by the movie Rad that came out in the 80s too, which had some it was mainly BMX racing, but it had some freestyle in it too. So kind of getting
Oh,
inspiration for that,
and don't forget the movie BMX Bandits.
and BMX Bandits too. Yeah.
Yeah, you know that one.
Yeah.
One of the things is that I came up with this hilarious idea about the BMX thugs. You know what their main weapon is?
Hmm.
Newspapers.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's right. And it's based off of
Yes.
What is it based
You
on?
you know this. You know this game. Everybody grew up with this game in the 80s.
Arcade game.
Pac-Man or
Big
it was
bicycle,
bicycles?
bicycle newspaper.
Man, not sure.
Ay, ay, ay. You mean you
Yeah.
don't know Paperboy?
Paperboy, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're
So,
basing it off of Paperboy. So were they, you know, where it's I would think it could be kind of a half and half thing where they can use like throwable weapons, which are the newspapers, and use their bikes too as kind of like weapons. So they do like cool freestyle tricks or something,
oh
something
yeah.
really cool that would, they could show the bike can be used as a weapon. Some really cool, like
Hmm.
have the pegs like that are on the side be like sharpened, or have the chain like that's on the rear wheel actually be like a chainsaw blade or something like really
Hmm.
gnarly
Hmm.
that I think would really spice up the like some of the thugs in the series.
Oh yeah.
That's cool.
Well, um, okay. Yeah. It's just that one of the other challenges here, just like we're supposed to do this, make it an 80s style. But the biggest challenge is the actual year, 1989, and it's actually the least 80s looking year of
Yeah,
the whole decade.
Yeah, you're right. Um,
It's
like
like less neon, more natural colors during that time.
yeah, and it
mm-hmm.
was more of like hip hop influenced.
New Jack Swing.
Yeah, New
Yeah,
Jack Swing and it was very urban.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we gotta balance that a bit. I mean, we have to honor that year,
mm-hmm.
and we have to show people uh, what that era looked like, because a lot of people didn't know that a lot of things happened that year in history.
It's true. It was the
Yeah,
fall
Like, for
of
example, go ahead.
yeah, it was the fall of the Berlin Wall.
Oh no, it was more not just that.
Yeah.
Um, it was the end of one era in Japan and the beginning of another.
Hmm.
So
yeah.
that's when Showa ended, and that's when Heisei began.
Hmm.
And that brought like a whole cultural change in Japan.
And then also the was it the stock market crash too? Also in Japan, right?
We haven't got to that yet. That hasn't happened yet.
Or was that when was that exactly? Was that
The stock market crash in Japan happened like in the early 90s.
in the early? Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think, yeah, I've been holding off on this, but there's an actual movie on Netflix that takes place in Japan in 1989 called Earthquake Bird. I've got to watch that and see what that looked like.
Yeah, I've seen it on my Netflix recommendations, so I will check it out too.
Yeah. Um, Also, I think that one of the biggest challenges also in Idol Crisis is um, this is a parody work, so we need to learn the art of comedy. And
Hmm.
yeah, the problem right now is a lot of comedy movies today suck.
True.
Yeah,
that's
they're garbage.
that's true. Definitely.
Uh, That's why I gave my team a list of movies to watch, how to properly make parody movies. Like, for example, the Kentucky Fried Movie, Airplane, Amazon Women on the Moon, and let's see, Naked Gun,
Naked Gun,
The
yes.
classic.
and Hot Shots. Those are textbook examples of how to make parody comedies.
Basically like the slapstick comedy type of stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's absolute gold. That was when comedy was great.
Mhm.
It was when it was actually funny.
Yeah. At the same time, we have to watch a few Jackie Chan movies because, like, he was one of the very few that actually made comedy and martial arts work together.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Let's see, who else? Yeah. Uh, yeah. So yeah, this is a whole project, that that is full of ideas, and we just need to add more.
Mhm.
Like, hopefully, probably by next year, we could probably get like I could probably ask someone to program a game demo
Wow, I would love to see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
because there's actually uh, there's actually a game system on a PC, like a PC based game system called Mugen, where
Yep.
you can program it, um, and create your own characters, and then your own, so you can basically make your own fighting game with it.
Hmm. Yeah, I have a lot of memories of that. Me and my friend, we used to play a lot of Mugen, and we would just download like a lot of the just really stupid characters, and we'd put
Mm.
them up against each other and fight. It was the funniest thing. But yeah, I've been I played Mugen for quite a while. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's see. How's the how's the situation right now with the whole pandemic in your area?
Well, in New York City, things are slowly going back to normal. Like businesses are opening again. Some places they don't require you to wear masks anymore. But to be honest, like um, the situation here in New York City is like kind of still kind of chaotic because there's still like a lot of homeless people around, especially in the subways, and there's a lot of like crazy people in my area, and this whole pandemic's got them all shooken up. Um, but yeah, things are getting a little bit better than last year because last year was a disaster in the city.
Yeah, I've been hearing about the stabbings in the subways.
Yeah, there's lots of crazy people that are going on the subway stations and they're like, um, stabbing people, robbing people, hitting people, and there's a lot of like,
Pushing them on the
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
yeah, it's a lot of like, African Americans and Hispanic thugs that go and hit like Asian people here. Like there's been a lot of like Asian hate here. Um, yeah,
Oh,
a lot of crime. Yeah, I know it's depressing, but that's why New York City, you got to be on your guard because this pandemic.
none of that
Yeah.
happened when I visited New York City back in '97. It's like I was able to take a train from Queens to Times Square with no problem.
Well, those were good times because I was a kid in 1997 and things were a little bit were in control at that time. But nowadays, like with the mayor, he really sucks. And this year we have to vote for another mayor, but I don't see the point in it because it's the same crap over and over again. Nothing really is gonna change here. It's just been getting worse and worse and worse, and it's not worth living in New York City, to be honest. It's just everything's getting expensive. The cost of living has increased. The bus fare, train fare has increased. Like, it's just not worth it.
I actually miss the food there.
Yeah, the food's the only good part, but still, it's not. It's changed a lot. Yeah, yeah. The pandemic made things worse.
How about you, Drew? How's the situation in your area?
Um, well, same thing. It's been opening up recently. You can just walk right into a store without a mask and really no one would care. But I do it anyway, just out of common courtesy, right? Just it's a courtesy thing that I do. I
Okay.
Yeah.
I may not need to wear it, but I just do it, just as a courtesy to others, right? Because I'm not bothered by it. I just put it on, it's fine. I'm not bothered by it at all. So, I just do it to be polite to others. But,
Yeah, it's fine.
yeah. But I mean, uh the demand for housing here is stupid. I'm just gonna put it like that. The demand for housing is just absolutely insane. Everyone wants houses. You know, the whenever a house goes on the market, it's instantly sold. So like, and I can understand because right now we're going through like a giant heat wave. Like it's getting to like 110 degrees out here. So, people want a place to stay in with AC and everything like that. So, but yeah, I mean, recently I think there was a abandoned house in town that was like the price was like $600,000 or
I
something.
Wow.
oh actually
It just for
actually
an
I shouldn't be surprised because I lived in LA for 10
oh yeah.
years.
So yeah, it's expensive here. It's not cheap, never has been, and probably never ever will be.
Yeah.
So,
Same thing
I
here
mean,
in New York City. Same thing.
yeah, it's so stupid. But luckily we haven't had power outages yet because apparently, that's kind of a, believe it or not, normal thing here in my area is power outages because people are using their ACs and they
Ouch.
just crank it up all the way, and then that overloads the grid and it shuts down. So,
I know what the weather is like over in California.
oh
It's
yeah,
it's hot and dry, but it's nothing compared to Manila. I mean,
is
like
it like super humid?
super muggy. I
Oh
mean,
my god.
Wow.
even when it's raining, like even after you take a shower, you are sweating.
Oh wow.
Wow.
My dad felt like that because he used to do trips to Asia, and he said in Taiwan when he went to Taiwan, he said, yeah, the humidity is insane.
Yeah, well, yeah, but Taiwan's a little milder than here
Yeah,
in the Philippines.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, but otherwise here in Manila, you have to wear a mask. You have to wear a mask no matter where you go.
Hmm.
Like even when you're driving, you have to wear a mask. And furthermore, you need to wear one of these shields.
Oh wow.
Yeah, or else or else you can't get into any establishment.
Wow.
Wow.
And
But
then
yeah, like, go ahead.
like vaccinations have been very slow over here. Like I'm probably I haven't been vaccinated yet because there's like huge delays on the shipments of the vaccines here.
The vaccination process here in New York City is they're encouraging everybody to get vaccinated. Like my family members have already got vaccinated, but not myself or my sister because we're just scared of the side effects because there's like a huge a lot of people are concerned about the side effects of the Pfizer vaccine and the Moderna vaccine, and we're kind of like thinking about it. But other than that, like everybody's been getting vaccinated here in New York City, so it's been quick.
I'm scheduled to take the Moderna like next month.
Uh huh.
My sister took the Sputnik vaccine from Russia.
Wow.
But what
Okay.
happened was when she got home, uh, she got a high fever.
Oh wow.
But it only lasted the whole day.
But
It was
yeah,
like,
for me, I I just I mean, I would get it. It's just I don't like needles. I hate needles. I have a thing for needles that I
oh,
can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah,
I
me
just
neither.
can't.
yeah.
No. So like it's just been this thing I've had since I was a kid. Since I was a little kid, I've always hated needles. So, but like, yeah, I would get it. It's just no, I can't deal with needles for anything really. So it's tough for me. But I'm hoping there's a nasal thing where they put it up your nose or something. I don't know, but
Yeah.
Well, there has to be a way.
yeah, because I just don't like needles. I just can't deal with it. It's just
Yeah,
Yeah, me neither. I'm
yeah,
terrified.
yeah. Aside from that, let's see. I mean, okay, um, so you guys are not listening to any current J-pop stuff, right?
Not really. For me, it's been the same old playlist. I haven't really been listening to it that much. I haven't been discovering new artists yet because I've been really busy.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, for me, I've been listening to this band called Wagaki Band. So what they do is they basically mix traditional Japanese instruments with heavy metal,
oh okay.
Hmm.
and a lot of their songs are covers of Vocaloid songs. So there's a huge twist on that. Um, and then early this year, I started watching the anime Demon Slayer,
Yeah.
and that got me listening to this singer named Lisa.
Cool.
I swear that one song she has is complete, pure emotional music.
I'll ask my dad about that because he's been watching. He watched Demon Slayer too. Believe it or not, yeah, my dad likes anime, so he watched Demon Slayer and he said it was really good. He liked it.
Yeah. Did he watch Mugen Train already?
Uh, he hasn't watched the movie yet, no, but
Oh, okay.
I
Uh,
I'm like pushing him to.
word of advice: do not watch the movie until you watch season one.
Yeah, he's watched it all. He's watched like everything.
Yeah,
So for him, he can watch it. But yeah, for me, I still have to, you know.
yeah. So yeah, you definitely need to listen to the singer Lisa. She's like the biggest thing right now in Japan.
Okay. For me, I've been listening to like. I mean, recently it's just been, believe it or not, like some of the soundtrack from this anime called Love Live,
Love Live.
and it's from the first season all the way back in God, I don't even know when it was like probably 2013 or something. But
Hmm.
there was like a idol group in there. They're called A Rise. They're from the anime, and they had some like
Hmm.
really good songs in there that I actually like that are not bad at all. And then I've been listening to a little bit of Kiyakasaka 46, which is another AKB 48 style group, but they had a song that I like nonstop listened to like last year in like December. That was my
Nogiza.
thing, was just listening to them.
Hmm. Yeah. All right. I better check them out. Let's see. Yeah. Aside from that, yeah, I'm still going through like a lot of classic J-pop stuff. Um, like on one of my cars, I got Yoko Oginomi's set list, and then on my other car, I'm listening to Mari Hamada. She's she's this great pop and heavy metal singer from the '80s, and her vocal range is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's impressive. Uh, I think my favorite song is probably like Emotion, Emotion. That's
That's good.
probably
That's a good song. Yeah.
like my favorite song from her. It is fantastic.
Wow.
That,
I haven't listened to her stuff. I know you guys recommended it to me, like especially Jeremy. Like you've been telling me, like check out Mari Hamada, and I haven't had the time, but I will. I will check it out.
I mean, like
Oh, we have Raymond here.
Oh, yeah, finally.
Finally,
Okay.
let's go.
Hey, what's up, Ray?
Hello.
Hey!
Hi.
Hey.
Oh, how is my volume coming through?
There's
Oh,
some.
could you hear me at all?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
You can hear me? I can't turn it up. I could bring it up closer. I could do that. Okay. Oh, I don't see myself. I don't know if that's okay or not. What have you guys covered already?
Well,
Okay,
we just talked
better
a little bit about
question.
J-pop.
Oh, have you covered Kathy Dennis being in Idol Crisis yet?
Not yet. Well, we just mentioned her name, but we're not going to that yet.
Okay. Yeah, I apologize. I've been caught in technical difficulties, but I'm in.
That's
Have
fine.
I missed anybody? Has anybody else stopped by?
No.
No.
No, it's just us.
Yeah, the four of us.
That's totally fine with me too. I love watching that video with the two of you guys.
Yeah. We were just talking about, like, what the situation is right now in our area. Also, my short description of Idle Prices for our viewers.
Yeah, it is. It's like it's something you gotta kind of like. If you're into it, it's amazing to come across. When you're talking to other people who have just kind of run into it, and they go, "What is this?" And you've got the chance to kind of explain what you can explain of the idea of what's coming along. And that is like I can check in on the PDFs, and as you well know, I get updates constantly. But it's kind of like I'm waiting to see what you have in store as far as the way the script is coming together.
Still working on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. In other news, this whole ever since I started doing this whole Idol Crisis thing, a lot of things started popping up. Did you guys hear that Debbie Gibson will be releasing a brand new album this August?
Yes.
Now, what got me pumped up is she says it's going to be Electric Youth 2.0.
Okay.
Cool.
There's going to be a bunch of like 80s style music.
Like synthwave type of stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I'm interested then.
Ooh, okay.
The title of the album is The Body Remembers.
I dig it.
Yeah.
I on a daily basis, Debbie just brings my day up to another level. She's bringing out her garbage, singing some songs, just sharing anything she shares with anybody. It seems like I feel comfortable that it's like Debbie stays home just as often as I do, and that's absolutely fine, And I dig it. I really dig it. It's just a nice vibe to see that she's coming back. Mm-hmm. And there must be enough people interested that she's getting a chance to do this,
It's funny how people look at her now compared to 30 years ago. Because, 30 years ago, if you were listening to her, you get laughed at by everybody else.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. That's how I was in grade school. But nowadays, people are saying, wow, that was her? Why can't we have more singers like her? That's what people say.
I dig it. I really do. I've got the Debbie shirt on at the moment. I don't know if you guys can see me. I can't see me. Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I can barely see it, but yeah, that's cool.
Some Debbie shirt is in action today. And it's like even recently, you'll hear things like, "Oh yeah, Debbie Gibson, she was cute," or Debbie Gibson, this or that. Or usually, I'll hear something about Tiffany. Everybody wants to bring up Tiffany. And it's just nice to see that she's getting another shot. And I know that the Broadway shots are nothing to be, waved off, because I have not seen and heard all of her parts in all these Broadway shows. But when she's doing shows, the bits that I have seen are just amazing, and it's all Debbie, and it's really entertaining.
I actually have a CD copy of the London musical of Grease that she starred in, and she did pretty good.
Yeah, I've seen. I've probably seen more photos than actual footage or any scenes from that, but it gets me excited to see that stuff, and it gets me excited to see that she is enjoying herself, and that she is, still a name amongst names.
She is. No, what I would like to know more is like how much of an impact she's made on J-pop. Because a lot of people don't know that.
I was one of the people that didn't know anything about that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that she's a big celebrity in Japan. Like she's actually made herself at home. If you watch all of these old videos of her appearances on the variety shows,
the interviews. Oh yeah, it's all good. Oh, small performances, short performances, but
yeah,
wonderful.
And then that she also wrote songs for some Japanese singers.
Yes, see, I learned this stuff from hanging around. Is how I learned this stuff, and I don't look it up on my own, but I do. You pick it up, and it's like it's just a new look into what I should have known all along. I should have been aware that she had such a draw, even early on, as a massive fan, and these things are kind of kept from me, So whatever area you're in, you see and hear what they want you to hear, And we knew Debbie Gibson, and it seemed like maybe Debbie would be disappearing at some point there. And there are just album after album, she sings her heart out on all that mid-90s stuff, closer to the 2000s stuff. Everything she does today, And it's, it's something that I just love to see it recognized.
Yeah. It's just that what really puzzles me about this is, she was big in Japan, and she worked a lot in the J-pop industry. Yet she never crossed paths with Chisato.
Right. Well, that's what we've heard, right? We haven't heard anything different.
I mean, as far as I know, Chisato's her only equal.
That sounds wonderful to me.
Because I'm sick and tired of hearing this Debbie versus Tiffany comparison. They're not the same.
Yeah, I believe that. It sounds like the two of them are as well. Yeah. Absolute different aspects of coming to making music, and what's come out and what's come since. It's pretty clear, But so we've done some Chisato talk. How about Pepperland? Have we talked about Pepperland?
Pepperland? No, we haven't talked about Pepperland yet, but I did get that CD. I did get that CD for 100 yen.
Hour, sir. I just well, let's see. Yeah, where should we start? I had been thinking a lot lately about, there was a question posed in Moritaka World, about we were kind of deciding whose favorite album was what, and then just we were going to see what the poll came out with, and there's that split between the Warner Brothers Idol era and then the later era, the songwriter era, and we were kind of interested in seeing where people came out on different ends of this. And
See, that is really tough. That is really tough. I mean, you
it
can't
is,
just,
it is,
yeah. I mean,
it
because
is
you have like
please.
your favorite songs here, but you also have your favorite songs there.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, and I tried to describe it as best I could by saying that the earlier stuff, the Idol stuff, was like it held my interest. It does. It always will. But the later stuff, like Sweet Candy, anything off of Peachberry, it's like there's something different going on where she gets to be Chisato, and she gets to be a different Chisato in a more comfortable position as far as just recording things and presenting herself. You know,
I
you've got
think,
that.
yeah, I
Oh,
think my favorite from the second era, is Tayo.
mm. Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it. I love the offs as much as I love the ons in the video. Yes, I do. You know.
Uh, it says that I tried listening to Step by Step a few times. Like it didn't click on me until I actually bought the CD and looked through the whole picture book, and it started growing on me.
And it did. Well, we had discussed this because, yeah, we had discussed this for quite some time, and and I love to hear that. Um, a mutual friend of Landerson will love to hear that as well, step by step.
Yeah,
And I do understand why, and I understand why we don't hear about how does everybody describe the album entitled "Next Summer Will Be More Better."
yeah.
Uh, I
It's
I love so many things off of that. Well, I love every song. Well, we have discussed this as well. There's something about "Don't Stop the Music." There are versions of "Don't Stop the Music" that I just would rather listen to something else. You know, and that doesn't ever that never crosses my mind during any other Chisato song. Hey, anything. I will
yeah.
listen to, yeah, oh yeah, anything.
Oh yeah. Well, as I mentioned earlier, I think I have all of her albums. I'm just missing a couple of compilations, and I'm missing that one collaboration she had with Tofu Beats because it is so hard to get on the auctions.
Ah,
It just doesn't show up on the auctions.
yeah. Oh, well, yeah, that is surprising because it's so new. That is surprising.
Yeah, uh, yeah. Well, I am getting her new Blu-ray once it comes out next month
That's
because I'd like to see
fun.
what.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I'd like to
Oh,
see like the whole thing.
yeah, we're gonna have to see the whole thing. Everything we can see from the position of not being able to go to the concerts, which
Yeah,
is
because
wonderful to hear of everybody who gets to go and has gotten to go so far this year.
you can see shortened versions of those concerts on her YouTube channel.
Yes, yes, and yes, and if you're lucky enough, you can see some here and there,
Yeah,
or if you
but
find it in the right places. Yeah.
yeah. So one of the things I want to do once this whole pandemic is over, once we're all allowed to travel, I will go back to Japan and I will at least watch at least one of her concerts.
That sounds fantastic. Nana Chan's crepes would be worth the trip alone.
Oh yeah, at the same time, okay. I will meet up with the local Chisato fans there, especially I would say the Tohoku chapter, the Tohoku headquarters. Definitely need to meet up with them. Yeah, and I definitely will need to meet up with Nana Chan.
That's me with like Onyanko, right? Because there's like a Onyanko group. They're like, it's not like a chapter, but it's just one big entire group that represents Japan, and then there's also another group that represents. Well, there's Onyanko Club Sabe Español, which is the Spanish group, and then there's the worldwide group, which covers basically everything else. But the main one the big one is the Japanese group, obviously. And I would love to go when they have the anniversary of the final concert back in '87. If I could go and just be with those people at that, because what they do is they gather at where they had their final concert. Because the stadium is still there, quote unquote. But it's still there, so they all gather there. They sit up, they wear their like happy coats, and they have their little bandanas tied around their head, and they do the cheers and all that, and they just watch the video of the recording of the final concert. And I'd love to just go and see that, because I've got my my Onyanko stuff now, so I can take it with me, and hey, I'd stand out because I'd probably be the only foreigner there with me and this stuff. So
yeah,
I'd probably stick out as well with the Chisato crowd, because there's already two groups of Chisato fans I would like to think I need to meet up with. One is the Tohoku chapter, and also Chisato Love.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of my time looking through the group page.
That's why also.
Wonderful.
Okay, I want all of us before 2027 to come to Tokyo. That's all meet up there.
Nice. 2027. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because 2027 would be the 40th anniversary of Chisato's career.
Wow.
It sounds like a better idea than I believe I heard something a couple years sooner. At one point when we were talking, a couple years later does help everybody to plan, and it's the perfect time to do it. It really is the perfect time to do it.
Yeah. It says that there's so many places in Japan I need to visit after listening to all this J-pop stuff.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I know that there's some places in Japan where a lot of the members of Onyanko, like, they own little places. I know in Roppongi, Akiko Ikuino, she owns a teppanyaki restaurant. It's called what is it called? It just slipped my mind. Sakichi. And,
okay.
I want to go there. And because she works there, believe it or not, it's not like, over here where it's just like, oh, a famous person has a restaurant, but they never go there, right? They never work or do anything there. Akiko, on the other hand, she goes there and she comes in and she works, She actually, well, I believe it's her husband that owns the business, but she goes in and works there as well. And then the original location for the Sailor store, which was the clothing brand that Onyanko wore. That's the most famous one that people know of, is the Sailor's brand, and it's still around today, owned by the same person. And I'd love to go there and visit it because the building is still there. And then other things too, like Harumi Tomikawa's resort, or, you know, just all types of stuff. Maybe run into, I don't know, or I want to go to Obama, Japan. That's on like the, I guess the west part of Japan. It's a coastal town. And that's where, you know, my favorite Mamika Takai, her bike shop is there. I'd love to go visit that. And, well, it was the Takai like bike shop, but it's, apparently it is closed, but the building still says Takai Cycle Center on it. I'd still love to go there and probably, I don't know, I'd be crying probably the entire time. I don't know, but I mean, it would be fun just to see all these places, because I've got pictures of them from like original photos of like the shop in the 80s and all that, and it's a completely different, like, they remade the building but the location's exactly the same. I'd still like to go there and see it.
It sounds like a heck of a trip. Yeah. See, I guess my trip wouldn't be as broad as that. It'd be narrowed in on getting some of those Nanchan crates. And if there were more Taka involved, that'd be amazing. Meeting other folks, that were other folks from the groups, and other folks that we meet in YouTube comments and everything, that would be amazing. That would absolutely be amazing. You know?
I think that would be a really, really big staple in the whole community, is getting everyone together from different parts of the world. You know, for both the Chisato fan groups, even for the Onyanko groups too, for both of those, because both of these, you know, groups have, you know, a worldwide. They have the Latino groups, and then they've got the Japanese groups. But seeing all of these people come together, like for example, they like an Onyanko final like concert where they view it, but it's also the members of the Latino groups and from the worldwide groups. Same thing with Chisato. Like for example, the groups, like, I don't know, go to a concert or something.
Yeah, or stayed in an inn, try out some local foods, and if it's not a concert year, head back. You know, go back another year. You'll already have a practice round in. You know.
Yeah, you guys seriously need to experience Japan once in a lifetime.
Yeah, I would love to go. It's on my bucket list. I also plan on brushing up on my Japanese skills, because I
Definitely.
Yeah, I only know the basics, but I would like to learn more, so I'm gonna train myself to speak it.
Same here.
I've been going really hard on the hiragana and the katakana stuff, and grammatical bits, you know, and it's been wonderful. Here, we'll get back to on topic. It's been wonderful learning what I've been saying over the past year and a half or so to everybody, like what I've been saying wrong, and what I've been saying that's awkward. And it's just nice to get another chance at brushing up on everything, really getting into it, and then you start to listen to tunes, and you'll have them on like a normal day, and you understand how everything's broken apart, why things are placed where they are, how they should appear, be written down, and it just makes it a world of difference. You know what I mean? So if you have, I would suggest just sticking with it, you know, and just stick with it and let it happen, you know. You kind of let it happen. Obviously, we all will listen to the same sorts of things and watch and see the same sorts of things. You take a lot in, kind of let it happen, and put in a little effort here and there, and the everyday stuff. All the good mornings, like, you don't have to learn how to read good morning ever again once you've done it that many times, you know. But it will definitely help when everybody wants to get together and head over. Everybody can help one another out. We'll navigate our way around.
I
The bridge is where I would like to pay a visit. If I were to ever pay a visit to something of a historical or, a nostalgic nature, such as that, For the most
Definitely, you
part, I
gotta
was.
visit. Definitely, we need to visit Otara
Mm.
Sebashi. Definitely. Yeah.
The grove of trees sounds like a place I would definitely enjoy spending some time, having some pictures taken.
What else? Oh, yeah. Well, me, I would like to visit, you know, the southern part of Japan, Kyushu. That includes Kumamoto, which is Chisato's hometown.
Hmm.
Yeah. Also, Fukuoka. A lot of famous idol singers came from there.
Yeah, that's right.
Uh, yeah.
I think
And,
like what I would also like to do is, I mean, it'd be kind of tough, but uh, the filming locations, if I can find them again for
oh,
the Suke Vandeka series,
oh,
Oh yeah.
if I
all right.
can if I can find those again, I want to go there. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do that cheesy thing because I got the replica,
I know.
yo-yo, right? So, do my little, thing like I'm Asami Asaki or something.
Ah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, just do
Sounds
some
like
cheesy type of stuff up there.
that
But
sounds
yeah,
good.
if I can find them, if I can find the locations, then I would for sure want to go see them.
Oh, I would be down for that as well. Absolutely.
Because
Yeah.
what I remember, I think quite a lot of the the third season was, like a lot of the city parts were in Shibuya. So I believe in Shibuya. So I mean,
Yeah.
it'd be cool to check it out.
That
Yeah.
I
That
didn't
was,
know. That I didn't hear about. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've looked at it, so I might be wrong, but I know it's in some place Tokyo, obviously. But then, if we're talking like Sukeban Deka the movie, uh, again, I would have to look into that because the movies, you know, yeah, I still haven't found the locations for the movies. It's mainly what I've seen for the third season, most for locations.
mm,
But I mean, hopefully I can. Yeah, I'll try and find it again. I had a website that I found that had the locations, so I just gotta find it again.
mm. Oh, shoot. What? Anything else you guys are looking forward within this year?
Um, about the Japan Olympics, I'm not sure if they're gonna go through with that. I hope they do.
Yeah, it's tough because like even the people in Japan are protesting against it.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
I.
Um.
Oh wow. I've distanced myself from this stuff. I live in the land behind Area 7 back there. That's where I've been living. So I, so I have distanced myself from that stuff. Wow. I did hear it was going to be in Tokyo. I was kind of excited about that.
And they said
Wow.
too that I mean, it's old
That's what it
news,
looks like.
so they apparently wanted to for the opening for the Tokyo Olympics, they apparently want to have, you guessed it, Yasushi Akimoto do the like the choreography, and even they're saying probably have AKB48 open, like do an opening performance. But a lot
Why
of
am I not
Japan,
surprised?
a lot of Japan is like not wanting that, obviously, because I mean, yeah, and I mean, a lot of us Onyanko fans too. We don't really like the idea that he married Mamiko because, you know, it's just, you know, it's not that cool because he's like at the time, like I think he was like 10 years older. And I was like, oh my god, and probably 10 or 15 years older when they married. So
Yeah.
a lot of us aren't really, you know, too happy about that. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me that yet again Japan doesn't want him to be doing anything with, you know, the Tokyo Olympics or just anything in general.
I just, you know, I just want to. I just hope you know that they go on with it. You know, get that out of the way.
Yeah, it would be a shame for them to be robbed of this opportunity to host the Olympics because of this pandemic. I don't think it's fair, you know?
Yeah, and I want to see the new sports too. Like, was it surfing, skateboarding, BMX? I want to see all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This I didn't hear about. That does sound exciting.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you know, for me, I just want to like, you know, maintain, you know, diplomatic relations with all the Chisato fans worldwide. I mean, that's what I'm doing with most of the Japanese Chisato groups. Also, you know, I'm hoping that Moritaka World Tour members, uh, as well as the Latino America section of Moritaka World.
Two wonderful places on the internet. Those are the two places I go to as soon as I wake up in the morning.
And then I would like to further build up the Yoko Oginome fandom on Facebook.
I have yourself and other folks in those same groups that to thank for even introducing me to Oganome-chan. Yeah. Oh, I would have no idea who she were if it were not for mingling with all the Chisato fans. You know, just wonderful people, and it's like everywhere I go, I would want to invite everybody to come join us. You know, whether they're really interested in this type of music or not. You know, it's like I just want people to know that there are places you can go and just feel comfortable, be yourself, enjoy what you like. Everybody's nice to each other. Everybody's respectful of the artist. And the Yoko site, or Yoko group, Moritaka World, all of these other groups, other Moritaka groups that you had just spoken of, they're wonderful places for people to come and feel comfortable sharing stuff, sharing their artwork, sharing covers that they may have made, and to expect to be treated in a warm and welcoming way.
Yeah, I go for the art. I like the art side of the groups.
I think
really
a lot
like
of
looking
people
at the
do.
art. And I wish I could contribute to art more, but yeah, I suck at it. So
you know what? I'm gonna begin contributing more, and I'll bet mine is uglier than yours. So therefore, you should contribute twice as much as I'm contributing, and we'll start from there. And
we just call it abstract
other
art.
folks who will join in.
I just want to thank all of you guys for checking out my video that I posted on my channel. where I was talking about my Chisato collection. Like, I had no idea that video was gonna get so many views. Like, I had no clue. I thought only like a couple of people were gonna go on there, but I had no idea that I would get to meet Chisato fans around the world who still love and appreciate her work. And I had no idea that it was gonna like blow up that video. But thank you for watching it. Yeah.
That video led me here.
Yeah.
If it weren't for that video, I wouldn't have made Moritaka World.
Wow, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
If
introduced
it
me
weren't
to
for that
another
video,
world.
if it weren't for that video, I still wouldn't be commenting on YouTube videos, and wouldn't have come over to Facebook and just begun talking to people. You know.
Yeah.
And it was. Yeah, it's been amazing. It was an amazing past year of a journey here, jumping over there to Moritaka World, and then being offered different positions, and then sticking around, you know. And it's been just completely different. You wake up in the morning, you have lovely people saying good morning, wishing you well. Everybody's productive, and we're listening to Moritaka, and it's just a nice vibe.
Yep. Say with all the Onyanko groups. Shout out to everybody, the entire Onyanko fan base. All of you guys are awesome. You know, like Onyanko fans are like the coolest people, right? We all, you know, have our favorite members and our little, you know, things that we have with, you know, different members, but you know, we all like one group, and I could say the same thing for the Chisato groups too. We all, you know, may have different opinions on different things, but what matters is that we all like the same thing. That's what matters the most. Is that we're all one big community. Like, we may have differences, but that's what makes us unique. If it was all just the same, we all had the same, it would be uninteresting, it would be boring. But you see, you know, a more diverse community, people who, you know, they may have a different way of thinking, like, oh, they may like this album, but they don't like this album. And that contradicts what you think about this. But what matters is that you like the same artist. And to have that community and just have something that actually exists now in a fan base is like the coolest thing.
Oh yeah. No, I'd also like to shout out the what's this called? J Stars Gallery. They're a J-pop fan group in Hong Kong, and they made me one of the moderators.
Cool.
I love finding that in my feed every day as well. Right alongside all the Moritaka stuff. You know, this is good stuff. As JDM mentioned, Onyanko stuff. I would like to give a shout out to New Wave Rocker J. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh yeah, New Wave Rocker J. Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo! Woo!
Yeah, you know, I would love to talk with you guys like hours and hours and hours about J-pop idols, about Chisato, about anime, about everything. That's my world, you know. But I'm glad to have you guys on this web chat, and we could talk about these things, and you know, it's nice to be part of this community. And I don't regret making that video at all, because it introduced me to this world, and I'm glad.
Yeah, that's radical.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
It is. I couldn't have said it better myself. Yes, thank you very much. Are we wrapping it up? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
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 It's past midnight here.
Yeah, I really hate to cut you guys off.
I'm like cutting to it. I'm like, yep.
Yeah, because it was a
All
lot
right,
of
I'm
fun.
just checking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
great
know
chatting, you know.
the proper etiquette. I just kind of like, I'm joining, I'm getting in one way or another. It took like, I don't know, 55 minutes, but I got in. Okay, you guys.
Yeah.
It is wonderful seeing everybody. It
Yeah.
really is.
Nice.
Drew as well. I know what
Yeah.
he
Yeah,
looks
Drew.
like.
Yeah.
It is. I'm. So, it really is. It's just wonderful to see you guys and talk to you guys. I wanted to throw that in there as well.
All right.
Yeah. And if you guys want to do
Okay.
another chat like this, let me know. You know, I'm for it. We could talk about these things again.
Let's do it again next month.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I'd like to get prepared and get ready for one.
Yeah,
Do
Onyanko
the
chat.
best.
Yeah. That'd be a
Yes.
nice idea.
Yes, Maganai Day. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for letting
All right,
me.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
man.
Woohoo.
All right, good night. Good night.
All right, good night,
night.
everybody.
Good night, guys.
Yeah. I'll see you guys.
I know, I was gonna say.
Thank you.